Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Double Meal Dad. I'm your host, the Double Meal Dad. The concept of the Double Meal Dad is a simple one. How can I stretch my dollar farther by buying more of the foods that are on sale and using them in multiple meals and getting different flavors out of those meals, and essentially the double meal. So for this episode, we're going to do my shredded Texas chicken. And what we're going to use is, we had some friends over, and we just did a simple outdoor, what we like to call here at the Double Meal Dad Kitchen, a mixed grill. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do one of those on one of these programs. Basically, fun time for everybody. I grilled some chicken and some shrimp and did a couple little mini lamb burgers, and then everybody kind of picks at the food that they want, some sides and some rice and all of that. We're going to try to do that. The beauty of a mixed grill like that is we can cook extra shrimp, we can cook extra chicken, and then we can use those in our second meals. And that's what we're going to do today. So when we come back, we're going to start the Texas shredded chicken, and a really simple meal, something you can prepare before you go to work, something you can prepare on a Saturday. In the morning when you get up and you're making breakfast, you just throw this together. You're ready for lunch or for dinner, it'll all be ready for you. All right? So come back and join us in the Double Meal Dad Kitchen, so we'll see you in a couple minutes. Take care. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Double Meal Dad Kitchen. Again, today we're making our Texas shredded chicken. So, real simple recipe. Again, I'm just going to start by putting some chopped garlic, chopping up some garlic in a little, just remember the little trick here that we have for this. We're just going to go ahead and take our garlic, just put our knife on the flat end, kind of just smash down on that, and then that skin should come off nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and throw that right into our blender. Let's make sure we don't have that knife tilted up in any direction there so we don't get hurt with that. Go ahead and chop this little end off here and make sure we've got all the skin off of that. We'll throw that in there, and we'll get this last one in here, and then we'll be done with the garlic. Now remember, the skin of the garlic, it's funny, I had some friends over not too long ago. I was talking to them about our 4 soup bags. Hopefully you've all started your 4 soup bags. But basically, they said, you can use the skin of the onion to make soup? Sure you can. Well, there's a lot of flavor in the skins. Just make sure that you peel those stickers off of those onions. Some of the grocery stores put those stickers on the onion. Skin of the garlic, all of that is really good. For those of you who haven't started your 4 soup bag, if you eat celery, kind of the tops and the bottoms of the celery, of course you want to clean your vegetables really good. Same thing with carrots. We're going to take the ends off it. Now, I don't need my onion right away, but since I've got my cutting board out, what I'm going to do is I need a small white or yellow onion. So I happen to have a white onion. Here's that sticker I was talking about, so I don't want to put that in my soup. So I'm going to put that on the side. I won't put that in my 4 soup bag. And I'll save all of this good bits though, and we'll throw that in our 4 soup bag, and then just keep this in the freezer. So those of you who are starting your 4 soup bag for the first time, go ahead and keep that in the freezer. Now you'll notice that mine is fairly empty, and that's because I just made some vegetable broth recently. I just threw it in the pot, put some water on it, and got it up to a boil, and then turned it down to a really low simmer and let it simmer for a few hours. So now I've got some good vegetable broth, which I'm going to use for this recipe. So real quick, I'm only going to use half of this because this is a little bit larger onion, and I only need a small onion for this recipe. I'm only going to use half of it, so I'm just going to go ahead right now, and since I've already got my cutting board out, I'm just going to go ahead and dice up some onions real quick. And the beauty of that is, now that I've got these onions chopped up, this little piece at the end here that, a little bit tough and nobody likes to eat, I'll just throw that in my 4 soup bag too. Okay, so that I'm not going to use right now. I'm just going to go ahead and put this aside. Get my little scooper here. Get that out of the way. And we'll come back to that in a second. We are going to use these onions in the recipe. We're just not going to use them right now. Okay, so we got our garlic started. Now, what you want to do is you want to go out and get yourself some Chipotle peppers. And so it comes in like a little 7-ounce can here. I'm just going to go ahead and throw a couple, 3, 4 Chipotles, peppers, in this. Now, these are very hot, spicy. Those of you who don't like a lot of spice, you can eliminate this if you want to. If you like a lot of spice in your cooking, Go ahead and throw the whole can in there. It's going to be muy picante. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw a couple, 3, 4 in there. I put 4 in exactly. You want to get yourself, remember we talked about the tomatillo on another episode. So the tomatillo looks like a little green tomato. It's got kind of a husk on the outside of it. You can either roast them from scratch if you want to, or you can just get yourself some tomatillo, some roasted tomatillos or some canned tomatillos. Now they happen to be out of the tomatillo when I went to the grocery store to buy them. So green verde salsa is the exact same thing. Verde salsa is made with tomatillos, if you look at the ingredients on the outside. So they didn't have a 14-ounce can or a 15-ounce can, so I just bought 2 7-ounce cans. So before I put this in though, I want to give this garlic just a quick pulse. So let me give this a quick pulse. Go ahead and chop up the garlic and chop up the chipotle peppers so that they're chopped up. If I put too much liquid in there, they won't chop really nice. I'm going to go ahead and put in 14 ounces. Again, they didn't have a 14-ounce can, so I just bought 2 small cans. Or you could use a 15-ounce can. So I've got that in there. Everything's set to go. We're going to give that a quick blend. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon each of our comino or cumin. Down here in Texas, we say comino. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of comino in there. I'm going to put a teaspoon of Mexican oregano. Oh, look, it's a new jar. Double Mill Dad forgot to prep and get ready with the Mexican oregano before y'all showed up. A little bit different tasting than Italian oregano, so I'm going to put a teaspoon of Mexican oregano in there. And then I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of paprika in there. So this could be like a hot Hungarian, or it could just be a Spanish paprika. It really doesn't matter as long as you're getting that good paprika flavor in there. And that's going to give you some good color as well. And then remember, we've got our crushed red peppers. These are just red chili flakes. We'll go ahead and put a couple shots of that in there. Again, if you want to control the heat, this is all optional from that standpoint. And the last thing I'm going to put in here is I roasted on the grill. Remember our little trick about roasting? I roasted a little jalapeno on the grill. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that skin off. I just charred it and roasted that up. So now I'm going to pull all that skin off of there. This is going to give us a nice roasted flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way so you can see. Go ahead and just cut the end of that off. And if you don't want it as hot, you can pull these seeds out. So the way we do this is ooh, I can smell the heat in that. I'm just going to scrape those seeds out of there. And we're just going to go like this. And we're going to scrape those seeds. Wow, this is I can smell the heat of that jalapeno coming right through it. It smells so good. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to give this a quick little chop. Okay, looks like my blender's starting to go, my blender's starting to give up the ghost there. Okay, now when I come back, let me clean this up. I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see everything else. And we'll put it all together and I'll show you how to get this done. Alright, so we'll see you in a few minutes. Take care, everyone. Welcome back, y'all, to the Double Meal Dad. We're having a little bit of fun here in the Double Meal Dad kitchen. Mama Rose was just having a little bit of a sneezing fit, so we had to stop and go a couple of times, but she's back. She's fine. She's fine. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming back and joining us, and again, thank you guys for all those great comments and everything out on the DMD website. We're glad to have you with us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, let's get this meal together. We're making Texas shredded chicken. And I just had taken some chicken breast. This is technically the half of a breast, but you can have whatever you got leftover wise. I'm going to go ahead and I've got about 5 or 6 pieces in here. And I'm going to go ahead and just start putting these in my crock pot, trying to get them as close and laid out as nice as possible to the bottom of the pan, the crock pot here. Because the idea is I want to try to cover all of the chicken here with the liquid that I have made, because I want it to sit in the liquid, and especially if you're going to do this before you go to work, you're not going to be around to kind of mix it up, and you don't want it to dry out. Again, with our crock pots, the key is, we got to get the liquid in there to cover. So I'm going to start with our nice, and you can see right there how that all came out with our chipotle and our jalapenos and our garlic. We got that all in there, and wow, that looks really good. So I go ahead and got that started in there. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my onions in. Got my onions in there, so those are all nice and chopped up. And then I'm going to take my vegetable broth. What I did was, so you saw my 4 soup bag. Happened to be that I didn't have any vegetable broth around, and I had about a quarter of a bag left, maybe a half a bag of my 4 soup started. So I just threw it in a smaller pot and made myself up, about 4 cups or so of vegetable broth. So now I have plenty of vegetable broth. Just put it in a mason jar, keep it in the refrigerator so I can use it when I need to. I'm going to put about a cup in here, and that seems to almost cover everything. So I've got it pretty well covered. It's Saturday. I'm going to be home, so I don't really need that much more on top of it. Now, you want to switch this up a little bit. You want to add a little bit more flavor. You want to change it a little bit. Rotel tomatoes, always a good little addition to that. Nice flavor. They got the green chilies in there, the diced tomato. We can add this to it. What I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to add, about 20 minutes before I'm ready to serve it, I'm going to add a can of corn and okra that we can get down here in Texas. I don't want to put it in now because I'm going to let this cook for several hours while the meat's all getting soft and falling apart and all that. So I'm not going to put that in now. About 20 minutes before I'm ready to serve, or about 30 minutes before I'm ready to serve, I'm going to go ahead and throw in that can of okra. You can also use, if you can't get okra, like okra and corn, here's a southwestern corn. It's got corn, green peppers, and red peppers. You can use, if you can get okra, but you'd rather use like the pickled okra, you can use the pickled okra and cut that up. That's going to change the flavor a little bit, but basically make this your own recipe. I'm going to put my basic recipe on there, but I really want you to do this and what's best for you. So it's Saturday. We're going to be home, and so instead of cooking it low and slow for 10 hours like I would do if I was going to work, I'm going to go ahead and cook it on high for 6 hours. And I'll be checking it throughout the day. Now, if you're going to work, just put it low and slow. Make sure you got it covered. And what's going to happen is this chicken is just going to fall apart and become shredded and nice. Like when you go to the Mexican restaurants and they have that nice shredded chicken and you're like, wow, I wish I could make that at home. It's that simple. That's all you got to do to make it at home. So we're going to let this cook. When we come back and finish up the video, I'm going to put it all together. We're going to do a simple preparation. We're just going to throw it on some wheat tortilla, flour tortillas, wheat flour tortillas, and then you can put it on rice, you can put it on beans, you can do it however you like. We're going to do a really simple preparation with it with maybe a little bit of cheese and serve it up. But when we come back, we'll finish it up. So everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, y'all, welcome back. You can see inside the pot, I've just taken those chicken breasts. All that good juice is now soaked in through the breast. You can see it kind of on the bottom there. We're just mixing this around. We're going to add now our can of corn and tomatoes, and if you got one that's got okra in it, that's good too. And then we're just going to, just for about another 20 minutes, so you can start the chicken and everything before you go to work. Put that on low for 10 hours, or if you're on, if it's Saturday, you're home, go ahead and do it on high. We did it for about 5 hours. And the chicken's just shredding apart. And now we're just going to let it warm for another 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll be ready to serve it. Okay? So when we come back, I'll show you how to serve this up. And we're going to cover this up and let that get all nice and warm through, and we're all set. See you in a few minutes. Hey y'all, welcome back. All right, it's been a little while. Few minutes. We've got the corn added to our Texas shredded chicken. And I'm just heating up some tortillas. So here's a little trick I learned, probably almost 40 years ago from some Mexican friends of mine. Used to work in a restaurant with them when I was 14, 15 years of age. And they used to do this. They just used to turn the flame on. I wouldn't recommend it on a big burner, but you just turn your flame on, get it on low, and then just go ahead and heat your tortillas up and let them sit for about 30 seconds or so. We want to make sure they don't get burned, and just flip them over. And if you're not used to touching hot stuff, you can just grab them with a little tongs and go ahead and flip them over and get them nice and warm. So we're going to warm those up real briefly, and then we're going to, that looks good to go, so we're going to go ahead and get that all set. We're going to come over to our shredded Texas chicken, which we've got all set here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick stir. Now again, you could serve this over rice, you could serve this with beans. I'm just going to make it up in a little taco here, so that, I mean, you can really do just about anything. We've got a couple different choices here. I just got some shredded cheddar cheese. I was at the liquor store buying some beer and stuff, and they had some jalapeno cheese bread. So I'm just going to put a couple strips of that. Car Valley cheese comes jalapeno bread cheese. So looks delicious. We're going to give that a little bit of a try here. You could use Monterey Jack. You could use any kind of cheese you like on this. We'll go ahead and just put a little bit of the shredded chicken on there. Our Texas shredded chicken. Get a little bit of that sauce in there. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to wrap that up. And just eat it like a taco. Look, it's juice is dripping all over the place because it's absorbed all that juice we put in there. Oh my gosh. The juice is just bursting out of the chicken because we had about 2 full cups, almost 3 cups of liquid by the time we got done. Excuse me. And all that chicken has just absorbed all that juice. Listen, it's a simple recipe. I hope you get a chance to try it. Thanks for joining me on the Double Meal Dad. And hey, we look forward to seeing you next time in the DMD kitchens. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.